Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So 29-year-old California resident Edward Badalian had traveled to D.C. with his friends and also now convicted January 6 convicts, some of them like felon Daniel Rodriguez. Rodriguez, you guys might remember, he was the one who tasered Officer Michael Fanone numerous times. Well, prior to January 6, Badalian created a Telegram group that was called Patriots MAGA Gang. He and others in this group chat would conspire. They were, using violent rhetoric and talking about keeping Donald Trump in office. Badalian posted very violent memes. He called for Biden and others to be arrested and or executed for treason. Badalian also talked of watering the tree of liberty with the blood of tyrants. And he said, quote, "At this point, I'd rather have the revolution break out and have China attack than keep this all peaceful. Use the Second Amendment or lose it." Badalian also expressed his agreement with contesting the electoral vote count. He also very much showed an understanding of the certification process that was going to take place on January 6th. In addition, he physically trained for violence, and he encouraged others in his group to do the same. In late November of 2020, Badalian wrote, quote, "I really do think we need a dedicated 8 or 10-man squad with practiced maneuvers and formations, and going to paintball this Sunday could be a great way to practice such things." Well, in the lead up to January 6th, Badalian posted things like, quote, "Paintball, one last group training before DC. We need to know how to fight together while under fire." Also, quote, "All our recreation should pertain to this war." And quote, "We need to violently remove traitors, and if they are in key positions, rapidly replace them with able-bodied patriots." Now, one thing that's funny is that when his friend who tasered Officer Fanone, when he spoke with the FBI, they asked him about these trainings, these paintball exercises they did together. And he said that at one point, Badalian told him, "You go on, I'm going to cover you." And then he said as soon as he stuck his head up, he got shot in the face with a paintball. So he said he knew, this isn't really going to work. So anyway, following Trump's infamous "Be There Will Be Wild" tweet, Badalian then ramped up the pressure to try to get more members of the group to go to DC. And he told them, quote, "Trump is calling on us. We must put our differences aside and fight." And Badalian shared details about how and when he thought that Trump would invoke the Insurrection Act, and then they would in turn act. Badalian also gathered weapons. He got tactical gear for January 6th, and they say that he did actually take a pistol with him to DC, although it doesn't seem that he took it onto the Capitol grounds, but he definitely took it to his hotel. On January 6th, Badalian and Rodriguez headed to the Capitol. This was after Trump's speech, and Badalian was seen cheering as others were fighting and pushing against the police in the lower West Terrace tunnel. To his credit, Badalian stopped a man who was trying to break a Capitol window. Sometime later, though, he was seen entering the Capitol through that very same window, which had ultimately been shattered by the mob. And while he was inside the building, he saw his friend Rodriguez breaking another window, and he saw other people in there breaking apart furniture, and he said nothing. Now, eventually, Badalian and the others were forced out of the Capitol by the police, and Badalian immediately started to do damage control. He tried to paint himself as a hero, of course, who protected the Capitol. In the days that followed, Badalian was interviewed on InfoWars, and he told the audience how he had stopped the man who was trying to break the Capitol window. He conveniently left out the fact that he entered that same window when it was broken, and how he witnessed others destroying government property. And after he returned to California from DC, Badalian and some of his co-conspirators got together and they were discussing plans to delete evidence off of their devices and to move everything to a hard drive. Badalian also tried to provide a cover story in their Telegram group, so he must have gotten a little nervous because he wrote, quote, "Two choices, guys. Either you stop acting like we are criminals or I'm deleting the group. We didn't do anything wrong. Simply being on Capitol grounds isn't illegal. We didn't break anything or hurt anyone." So he knew this wasn't true when he wrote that because Rodriguez had messaged the group and said that he tasered officers. He said, tasered the F out of the blue. And then he also, like I said, he saw Rodriguez breaking a window and he knew that they illegally entered the building. Badalian also got a new phone. He got a new phone number, even more importantly. It shows consciousness of guilt. So that happened about a month after the Capitol attack. His efforts were futile, though, because they were already searching for Rodriguez, and he ended up leading them back to Badalian. So Badalian was arrested in November of 2021, and in a superseding indictment, he was charged with conspiracy, obstructing an official proceeding, tampering with documents, and entering a restricted building or grounds. Badalian refused a plea deal. He opted for a bench trial, and in April of 2023, he was convicted on all counts, with the exception of the tampering with documents. U.S. District Judge Amy Berman Jackson presided over Badalian's trial, and she found that he made many false statements under oath. And before rendering her verdict, the judge described him as a, quote, very self-satisfied young man, impressed with his own intelligence and strategic acumen. And then the judge told him, quote, "No, Mr. Badalian, the Constitution does not give you the right to arrest the House Speaker." Judge Berman Jackson also referred to Badalian as, quote, Mr. Back the Blue. So that was when she was calling him out for failing to turn in his friend Rodriguez, also for his encouragement of others as they were attacking the police. And then the judge also likened Badalian's paintball training exercises to, quote, two little boys playing war. And she called it, quote, incredibly immature. But she said, nevertheless, their intentions were dangerous. It was also noted in his sentencing memo that Badalian had texted an ex-girlfriend during his trial. While his trial's going down, he's texting this ex, and he was complaining about the testimony of one of his alleged co-conspirators. The ex-girlfriend then reached out to that witness and started harassing her. So this is Gina Bisignano, who was testifying. And so the girlfriend reached out to Bisignano and was harassing her. So based on the felony obstruction conviction, Badalian faced up to 20 years in prison, 3 years of probation, and $250,000 in fines. This time, the prosecutor actually asked for a legitimate sentence. The government requested 121 months in prison, 3 years of probation, and $2,000 in restitution. So just over 10 years. I couldn't locate any quotes from the sentencing hearing, but Badalian was sentenced to 51 months in prison, 3 years of probation, and $2,000 in restitution. So a decent sentence. Badalian will have more than 4 years, apparently, to sit and ponder his brilliance, his strategic acumen, I guess. I will let you know when and if I hear more about Badalian. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.